things that we don't hear when you take a trip here is you don't hear about the spiritual significance of the places that we come to. And these are all spiritual sites. It's almost like visiting a church. Let's say you went to St. Peter's Basilica, or you went to the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York, and no one actually told you what it meant to be a Christian in that space. No one told you what the deeper significance was. And so that's what happens very often when we get to these sites. Think about what this particular symbol means. Now, we are seeing what is usually called a recumbent lion. It means a lion is laying down. Now, a lion is one of the most powerful beings on the planet, most powerful animals on the planet.
Did it go off?
And it's also one of the most difficult animals to tame. So you look at this huge recumbent lion, and then slowly we move towards the head of this divine person. And with this person, he is wearing the nemes cloth, and there are those who also say that he was wearing on top of the nemes cloth. You see the cloth, the crown that he's wearing? That's called the nemes cloth. There's some that say that he also had the peshunt or the shemti crown on top of that. So he would have had the large double crown on top of that. Magnificent structure. But what does it mean? Do you notice that the lion is much larger than the head of the human being? Who's noticed that? There's some that say that the body is 2/3 larger than the head. And you'll hear different descriptions as to why that's taken place. Some will say, well, clearly it was initially a lion, and that what happened is they later carved it into the face of a Nesubit. Others will say, well, they didn't have the refined carving techniques at the time. So the actual percentage between the body, the representation between the body, was not proportional because they weren't able to carve it correctly. Now, I'm going to tell you there's another reason why it's that way. We are all human animals. We're animals, correct? And so this lion is a representation of our lower form. Those urges that when you wake up in the morning and the alarm clock goes off, even though you know you're supposed to be getting off, what do? You hit snooze, right? It's the part of your body that says, you know what, I want that last piece of cheesecake, even though I know I'm on a diet. Even though I know I have high cholesterol, right? That's the part of the urge that you have, that animal urge. And there are lots of other ways, adults, that you're aware of this animal urge and how powerful it can be towards and it can direct you in a way many times that's not productive or healthy for you. So this body is much larger than the head. And so what we're seeing here is we're seeing the refinement of the divine spirit. And that's the reason why the head is smaller, because it has been refined. And it looks off at the horizon. The horizon is an analogy for coming into enlightenment, because once again the sun comes from the horizon, correct? So this is a symbol of spiritual refinement creating the divine person. You'll also notice that he has the cobra sitting in the middle of his head. The cobra is usually described as a symbol of divine intuition. It is a female quality. The ancient Egyptians did not have a problem with saying that men had female qualities and women had male qualities. That to become a divine being, you had to have duality, but be balanced. And so that is the way that they would have described the female cobra coming out of a man's head. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing the refinement of the divine person. They wanted you to know this. That's why they left it here in all its beautiful splendor and permanence. Because they knew that there would be a day when we forgot who we were. And that we would take these long treks, the thousands of miles that we've come to see this place, and that they would be able to tell us the message about how we are to live. This is the holy beast, Heru Akhet, also known by the Greek name, the Sphinx. Heru Akhet, by the way, I should tell you, means Heru. Heru is a divine being, the son of the great creator on earth. This is Heru on the horizon, as he looks out at the horizon. Now, I also mentioned to you, and I'll say this very quickly, that there are those that say that this is done in the image of Khafra, who has built the second pyramid here that we can see. That Merkut actually has a causeway, a channel that goes right from the Merkut right down along the side of this particular divine personage. So there are those that say that's one of the reasons why we know it's Khafra. And additional, You see the stela in the middle between his paws? That's that plaque there, that large plaque that looks almost like a tombstone. If you read it, it says Ka and then Ra later on. But there's some letters missing. So some people believe that it's referring to him. Now I'll tell you that he was probably one of the people that did a renovation of Heru and Akhet. You'll notice that in many of these spaces, there are renovations even going on currently. But there are two reasons why people say that this was probably not done by him and is much older. The first reason is because he is in leonine form, he's in the form of a lion, and he's facing where the constellation of the lion would have been facing roughly 10,000 years ago. In addition, there's another reason why we look at the date 10,000 years, and that's because you'll notice along the side of Heru and Akhet, and even in the surrounding area, what looks like water erosion. Now, you know, we're in the desert. It doesn't rain here maybe but 2 times a year. It did rain here very regularly. There were floods here about 10,000 years ago, which is another reason why they believe that this being is much, much older, and the rest of this incredible scenery that we've seen built here on the Giza Plateau was built as part of what was already existing. Any questions?